First of all, before anything, I want to definitely make sure you're feeling better because when you and I communicated last, yeah, you were really in a bad place, physically,
Yeah.
emotionally, in the whole medical part of things. So tell me about all that.
Yeah. So I consider myself very lucky in a way that I am a nurse and proficient on with my medical knowledge. I've had quite a journey over the past 2 years with medical issues, and I decided to start a business on top of it because what's a better time but when you're suffering
Right.
through medical problems. But I don't know if you knew the previous portion. I was diagnosed with Cushing's disease
No.
about a year ago, a year and a half ago. Yeah, I started having very serious medical issues, including like for somebody who works out 5 days a week, only drinks water, and was only eating salads at the time because I had no idea what was going on. I actually gained 60 pounds in a year. I'm very healthy, have no had no medical issues in my life, and I was on three different blood pressure medicines, none of which would control my blood pressure. Every time it was high, I would start slurring and I'd stutter. And I had multiple CAT scans because they thought I was having a stroke. And at first I was like, what is this? Like, but once you're on all these medicines and nothing is controlling it, you feel like you need answers and how bad can this possibly get? But one day I was looking in the mirror and I was like, I remember this look from nursing school. And it was a picture that is just branded in my mind of what happens to you with Cushing's disease. And I remember looking over at my friend in nursing school saying, this is my actual nightmare. Thank God this is rare. And so I'm the rare one, but luckily, given that knowledge, even though not labor and delivery related, I pushed and pushed for answers. I started researching tests, the tests for cortisol, what the gold standard of diagnosis is. My doctors said, you don't have this and you're not obese. And I was like, well, I started off very underweight. And to me, I am like, I'm not fitting anywhere in my clothes, my blood pressure. Like, how do you answer this? And they're like, well, you're in your 30s. And I was like, well, Jennifer Aniston is in her late 50s and she doesn't have this going on. So I'm not going to take that as an answer. And I pushed, 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 and finally got the test back. My doctor said, called me personally, apologized, and told me I get whatever I want for the rest of my life. Um, so, so that was the start of all of this. But since my surgery last July, 2025, I lost that 60 pounds very rapidly. And in that time, because of the hormone fluctuations with 9 times the amount of cortisol you should have to none, so that also added to everything. And I wound up with gallstones in March and then another surgery in May. But um, I mean, this is part of what I do in general, and this is what inspired me to really become a legal nurse. Is I was a detective for my own medical care and what should have been done. What's the standard of care with this? And I'm not complaining about my doctors. I love my doctors. I did not switch. I will never switch. Um,
Oh, I thought we had an exclusive here.
no, no, they're wonderful, and I want to be a great endocrinologist, and but the thing is, like, and same for me, when I'm looking at all of these records, you could be looking for something. If you're looking for something, you're going to find it. If you
Sure.
look for the same thing in every single record, I'm sure you'll find it, but is that the real answer? And for these doctors, it's like, are we going to test you for Cushing's now? And like, again, like it's me paying for it. So like I'm asking for it. But the thing is you can find, you open a can, it- it's gonna, a can of worms are gonna come out. So Like just because I have it doesn't mean that my doctor should start testing everyone for it that's having the same mild version of the symptoms. So, um, yeah, I was like, wow, I'm really good at this. So I should be a legal nurse. And that's why I started my business in this odd time for me. But, I it also made me very confident in that I can look at other um records of sorts and determine like were the proper tests ordered, were it gave me a sense of confidence in that like I was able to get my diagnosis within a year and a half when on average people it takes 7 to 10 years to get a diagnosis. And my endocrinologist told me that on the same route with no diagnosis, I probably wouldn't have made it to the age of 40, and I'm 34 years old. So,
Wow.
yeah. So it was like it's been a journey. Very acclimated to the local hospitals in the area as I've tested them all out. Um, but I don't tell them that I'm a legal nurse when they're taking care of me because it really scares people.
Well, hospitals are already scary places for a lot of people. I'm so sorry you had to go through all this because in fact, I know you and I had been in contact when you were going through the gallstone situation,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
I've never had them, but I know people that have,
Hmm.
and they just tell me it's horrible, right?
Yeah.
But and then you still kept persevering and just going forward. So it's like you're like that ad where adversity shows up, but you're like, come on, I'll take it.
I mean,
Let's
you
go.
either let it knock you down or you pick back up and you use what you're given to, help other people. Gallstones, in fact, are like one of the most um there's a huge delay in diagnosis for that as well. A lot of people are told they have GERD, they have acid reflux. Um, I didn't go to the hospital initially for my first few attacks because I was like, oh, this probably has to do with my last surgery, the recovery for that. But then one day I was home alone with my 9-year-old daughter. We just got home from Orlando for spring break, and my mom had dropped us off because she came with us. And we got home at like midnight. At 3:30 in the morning, I started experiencing what felt like a heart attack could only feel like, where you just get this pang of pain through and goes right to your back and it's like holding on there. So I can see where, you'd get the misdiagnosis. When I went to the hospital that day, the ultrasound tech was really holding on to like one area and I was like, this is gallbladder. Um, and and I knew it was that. Luckily, the surgeon they referred me to is my daughter's best friend's dad, and he got me in pretty quickly. So, um, it does help in a way to, you know,
Yeah.
understand how to navigate yourself through the healthcare world. But sometimes we as actual healthcare workers are some of the worst patients because again, like I probably could have been diagnosed 2 months before that, but I was just like, no, sick of hospitals now. But
Well, you had, as you so eloquently put, you have that training.
Mhm.
Your daughter's best friend's dad is a doctor, so some you have some pluses going for you.
Yes.
And I think this is a great opportunity to talk to some folks, if I can even talk right. But if we could talk to some folks who maybe are a little bit more stubborn than you and don't want to uh, face the facts here of their bodies talking to them.
Yep.
For example, something that you went through. So, what advice can you give to these folks? Because I think this is a healing message that was meant to be right here.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting to talk about this, but I do think it's really, really important. To me, at some point you can't figure out what certain problems are that are going on within your body. I would never take, oh, you're just in your 30s now. This is what it is. Like just think of Jennifer Aniston, right? Like that's always my thing. Like she's not like she's twice my age. We're not she's not there. So I think never take those things as an answer. If you
Mhm.
feel like you're not getting the answers that you need in order to get better, continue to persevere in finding the answers. Um, I was I'm very like Western medicine, like I'm into that. Like I think medicine was created for a reason. These tests are created for a reason. But I mean, I was to the point where I was going to go to a holistic doctor because they run the full panel, like every single hormone, whatever.
Mhm.
In my opinion, I don't think supplements would have changed it, and I think that's what I would have been pushed towards, but I was like, maybe these are some answers I would get. I probably would get the cortisol level in that.
What
Um,
kind of supplements, if you don't mind?
so it, usually they'll give you like a personalized concoction of supplements, like certain
Like a
vitamins.
cocktail of different
Yeah,
uh
and none of
supplements.
it's covered by insurance, because they're not FDA approved to help these things, and people wind up going through this rabbit hole and spending a
Mhm.
ton of money. But I think if there's just you're vaguely tired in your 40s, whatever, like, yeah, that might be the answer. But for me, I knew it was something bigger, but I was about to get the whole panel run, bring it to my
Mhm.
doctor and
Mhm.
say, hey, look, I got these answers. Because sometimes the answer is not in the the easiest choice, going to your primary care doctor, because a, a lot of these things are not handled on a day-to-day basis by them. It's not their specialty. That's why there are endocrinologists around for you to get a referral to. But I think just like researching is so important. Again, like you can find very wrong things in research as well. But
Yes.
um, really, I actually got all of my labs, and I told ChatGPT, who I wound up getting a subscription at this time because I was like, these my labs are all normal. They keep being normal. And I was like, but I sent all my labs to ChatGPT because, that I chose to give it my medical information because I just didn't care at that point. And and I just explained my symptoms. I didn't say what I thought it was. And ChatGPT came back with Cushing's also, and not in like parathyroid. So I asked to get my parathyroid tested for it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there are certainly things like I've done some like little tests here and there to like see if it gave me like a good response on certain things, and like it's not to be trusted at all times, but I was like, you know what? Like Google, you can go down this like different path, and so I was just like, I'm just going to try this and see if it works. And I went to my doctor. I was like, ChatGPT agrees. And so
Yeah.
I mean, AI is a whole untrustworthy issue. I do not condone using it for certain things, but like, it is a tool that if you can't find what's going on with you, it might be the first step to check. Like I figured it might give some recommendations for testing for me, and what's that going to hurt? But it's not the Bible. So,
Well, I always make sure because it's always listening, I always make sure I say in some form or another that I love Chat GPT.
I
Because when they do turn on this later, I want them to know
yeah,
I'm on record as saying that I like them.
I do like them. I do like them, but, yeah, I think you have to have some form of knowledge because it's only as good as what you put into it also.
Sure.
So,
There's a lot of confirmation bias too.
yeah, and honestly, like, if I were to say like, "No, I don't think it's that, I think it's this," then it would be like, "Yes, Danielle, queen, you are correct." And like, yeah, it calls me a queen, and that's great. But I think it sometimes tells you what you want to hear. So I went in and I was like, "Here are my labs. These are my symptoms," and I did not say another word. And I was like, "Let's see what it gives me back." So, I do like to use it for like, you know, I don't know how to respond to this weird email. Like that's kind of my my go-to, or it gives me you know tells me how to break up my day. Like I'm like, I have this case and this case and this case, and then I have a doctor's appointment, and then my daughter has swim team. How should I do this? And it helps me with my time management skills for the day. And then I just kind of set alarms throughout the day for everything. And honestly, it's made me a better and more productive person.
Yeah, I think it's I was having this conversation with this law firm the other day, and uh we were going through the role of AI in legal practice.
Mm,
And the whole thing was, they have very strong opinions on its use, but in I guess in their particular world, they're like, it's good for some things, but this and
mm,
that. And I said, well, I hope the paralegals of the world don't wind up hating me, but I think eventually, first of all, I said I don't think it'll ever take the place of a lawyer.
no,
It will never take the place of 12 men and women. I don't think it'll ever replace a a good researcher,
mhm,
i.e., a paralegal. I do think that there will come a day where it may master that. Certainly, a legal assistant. I don't speak ill of them. I just think their task could probably be taken over. Certainly, I believe a court reporter
yeah.
job could be probably handled by AI. Uh, the jury's still out on a judge,
Eh. Right.
but you know, uh, so I learned a lot recently, and this is what kind of floored me when you said this about Cushing's, because I've learned a lot about it in the last I'd say several months, and from a veterinarian's perspective,
Yeah.
and I had to put well we had to put our dog down yesterday because
Oh,
he
sorry.
yeah, it was tough, but I love that guy, and I to see him deteriorate the
Mhm.
way he did in such a short period of time. I mean, I started questioning some of these meds that the doctor
Mhm,
was giving, because I'm like, hey, these are like human drugs that
mhm.
you're prescribing.
Yeah.
Like one of the deals was gabapentin, which people use for pain or
Yes.
nerve pain.
Mhm.
But for animals, it's in the way it's manufactured, it's a liquid.
Uh-huh.
Whereas humans is, I think, from what I'm no expert here, but they said the human is in 100 milligram capsule.
Uh-huh.
Dogs can't have that, or animals can't have that. So he did that in the liquid form. So we had to uh, give him the medicine via the mouth,
Good.
just squirt the gabapentin in there. Uh, and the other thing was, I guess, tantamount to diabetes shots or insulin shots.
Mhm.
Now I'm going, tell me what is he, what is Cushing's? And I've never heard of that word ever a couple of months ago. And so
Yeah. Is that
he's
what he had?
educated me. I'm sorry?
Is that what he had? He had Cushing's?
Yeah, he had
So
Cushing's.
it's common in dogs and horses and me.
Oh, well, guess what? They said it's rare
It's
for
rare.
for
It's
for
rare.
him to get it
Yeah.
because he was so healthy.
Yep. And it hits you like what at first it's like a little subtle, like you might not notice the signs, and then it hits, my blood sugar was out of control, mostly low. So I realized like I would be at the hospital working. I'm still part-time there, and my blood sugar I asked for a Dexcom to wear,
Hmm.
because I was like, I feel like there's something going on with my blood sugar.
Hmm.
And I would get sweaty and shaky. And every time I got sweaty and shaky, my blood sugar was like 53.
Whoa.
but with Cushing's, usually your blood sugar will be high. But so my endocrinologist told me eventually that would have been the case, and I'd be on like a load of insulin, and that wouldn't even help. So you do wind up on all of these things. My friend, when I told her I had Cushing's, she has horses, and she was like, "Oh, my horse has that," and she was telling me about the horse. And but I do think things progress like a lot faster in dogs because they're smaller bodied and they don't have the same type of I'm not a vet, but like their organs don't process things exactly the same way. So
Mm. Yeah,
so
you're right. That's exactly what he was saying. Yeah.
and I just feel like that's the best answers I've gotten from Cushing's are actually from my endocrinologist and veterinarians, because they see it often, more
Yeah.
often than human, primary care doctors. But oh, it's terrible. It's awful. Mine was caused by an adrenal tumor. Some people have pituitary tumors in their brain, and so they have to go through your nose and do surgery that way. I was happy to not have brain surgery.
So and I'm sorry to
Yeah.
pry, but where was your tumor?
So it was on my left adrenal gland. So those are above your kidneys. They're about 3 millimeters large, like the actual gland.
How does
My
it get there?
I, My tumor was also 3 millimeters. They took a picture and sent it to me after, and it was like enveloping the actual gland itself. So the whole gland had to go. But the purpose of your adrenal gland is for production naturally of corticosteroids in your body. So once that gland was gone, and that helps regulate your blood pressure. So once that's gone, you have a higher risk of not having high blood pressure, but having low blood pressure to the point that it can be deadly. So I had to start taking steroids that were still way beyond the amount of natural steroid you should have in your body and titrate down so that your body doesn't go into shock. And these are such small little organs that are
Yeah.
so important in regulating so many things. Like we all think of our livers, our kidneys, and how to protect those. I have no idea how I got this. I mean, I don't know. Aaron Brockovich come to my house and check out my water. I don't know, but nobody else, nobody else in my family has it. Nobody, I don't know. And I've always been so comfortable being so healthy. And this is the other thing, like your health can just deteriorate in a blink of an eye before you even know it. And it makes you so grateful to have the health of those around you and all of those things. So but I do feel like it has given me I've always been, I mean, I think I'm overly empathetic to others. Like when there are sad things going on in the hospital, like I really feel for my patients. But I've developed like a very strong sense of empathy for those who just can't figure out what's wrong with them. And like it's very frustrating.
There's a
And
whole community of people out there like that.
oh, a huge community of people. I actually, I don't condone making friends on social media, but I found this girl who's an author, and she wrote a book on her journey with Cushing's. I was like, this is before I had test results. I reached out to her and I was like, hey, would you mind if I asked you a few questions? And she immediately responded. She was like my support system. She told me what she went through. Hers was a year before, and she basically walked me through from surgery then on like what to do about it. Because you can find all these support groups on Facebook and stuff, but they're not that helpful to me. Like they're kind of scary. Like people just kind of scare you. And
I
this,
don't know why I don't like Facebook.
I,
I don't. I
it,
like I like everything else, but I just
no.
don't like Facebook.
It was so not helpful. Like people are like, yeah, this, and then it was more horrifying than actually speaking to somebody who has it. But there is a whole group of people. Like people will go on this Cushing support group and they're like, take a picture of their face, will be like, do I have Cushing's? Like, why are you asking these Facebook moms to diagnose you with like a very serious
Yeah,
illness?
right.
So it's all these people. To me, it's all these people playing doctor, and it's just not the way
So
to go.
and I'm, like I said, I didn't know anything a couple of months ago about
Mhm.
Cushing's, and so all these questions. I mean, at first, I'll admit it. I was like, I wasn't buying the vet thing. I said, this thing, is it just made up? I mean,
Seems it.
there was a lot of money spent, to
Yeah.
be quite honest with you on that. And I'm going like, how is this making sense?
Hmm.
So we need to do this. He's like our kid.
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
would too. I would too. But it is like, I mean, I started getting medications sent from me. It was like same day air transport from a rare disease pharmacy in New
mhm.
Jersey. They would send this medication to me when you're not pre approved. So I was pre approved. But when you are not, oh, I think I froze.
Mhm.
When you're not pre approved, the medication costs like $100,000 per pill. And
What?
yes, yes. And so I was like, ooh, even though I'm sending this pre-approval form, will it be $5,000 a pill now? Like that's not something that
No, only 4,500.
right? So, but I did get pre-approved. It wound up being $20 per prescription, but like there was a huge jump to me like that. It's crazy. And but that medication didn't even work for me. Like whatever I had going on was just so strong. It was like the Superman of adrenal tumors, and you couldn't take him down.
So one of the things that the vet was telling me, and this I didn't see coming. This was one of the heartbreaking part of this thing going on with our dog. That I didn't know. It almost seemed like overnight he went blind.
Mm.
It started off in one eye, and I thought, oh, maybe he's just because we were giving him some drops for some buildup that he kept getting in the eye.
Like cataract.
And it turns out it was all a product of this horrible
Mhm.
disease.
Well,
And
so with diabetes, like so you can develop diabetes with this is
mm,
your circulation is compromised. So people with uncontrolled diabetes that's progressing and insulin's not helping, they're at risk of ocular issues such as going blind.
that's what I
So,
was going to ask you. It because the rarity of it transferring to or humans getting it was still rare. He said,
mhm,
uh, kind of also rare in dogs, but it does happen. And like
mhm.
you said earlier, horses as well. But from the human perspective and side of things, I mean, isn't that's got to be scary for some folks that
Oh,
they may lose their eyesight?
it absolutely. And I think a lot of people going through it, they might not even know that that's a possibility, but there are so many things. But yeah, your circulation's compromised because of it. Your collagen decreases because of it. So you don't have the elasticity in your vessels for that blood flow, and you need blood flow to your eyes as well. Um, so yeah, it's and and just as, you know, I just as a dog would, like, you know, they I don't I'm not pro testing animals, but they do that because these things show up in the animal before the person. So you might study a dog with Cushing's and say,
Hmm.
okay, this is what happened to this dog, and we're all mammals here. Like there are similarities in the
Right.
progression, although they might not take the same amount of time.
Hmm.
There is a progression in it, and sometimes things show up in some people that wouldn't others. It's
You
really
talked about collagen, and I'm
yeah.
sorry for interrupting, but
No.
because I'm literally trying to figure this out still.
Yeah.
Because I think he was healthy, and then next thing you know, he's not. And the doctor said that this is what this thing does, and I'm like, are you kidding me? And I
Mhm.
said, humans get this too? He goes,
Mhm.
well, it's really rare. He goes, but
Mhm.
yeah, they can. And then when you said that earlier, I'm like, what?
Like, was this meant to be today?
Yes.
I
I
read
mean,
so many books about it. Like I just kind of delved into researching it because to me, like knowledge is answers and like how can this be treated? Like, is there a chance that, I'll go back to normal? Um I yeah, I did they say where if your dog had a tumor at all, or did they do?
no, because they, again, test after test after test, they say, oh, he's fine. He's just this and that. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, nothing's this is not fine. I said something's wrong here.
Yeah.
And then they finally, this one doctor that look, I guess if I can say it, actually cared
Yeah.
about the animals. He did some other tests and checked him out, and then was like looking in his eyes. He goes, wow. He goes, this one looks a little cloudy, and
Wow.
wow. I'm like, okay, what does that mean? He goes, well, that's not good. He goes, so I'm gonna give him some drops and on and on and on, right? But then he comes back with this Cushing's diagnosis,
Mhm.
or what the labs came back with, and I'm like, okay, what's that?
Yeah.
Uh, you
It
know,
sounds
is
fake. It really does. My daughter told me I had a couch disease when I had it. She was like, "I'm not touching you. You have it." But I was like, "It's not contagious." But
you said earlier about the collagen, and I don't know if this is related, but I did notice that his skin and coat
mhm.
just started like drying up almost.
Mhm.
Like it looked that obvious
Yeah.
that something was going on with his skin.
Yep.
And
My skin
I
was
was like,
always
wow.
dry and it was like thin and I bruised really, really badly. Like no one wanted to go to the pool with me during the summer because like it looked very concerning. And like I was self-conscious about that, but my skin was very like thin and my hair also it like dried. I had like really long hair. I do again because I got extensions because I'm like I need to look like myself again. But um
Well, you look amazing,
it
and
started
you
breaking off.
always looked the
Oh,
picture of health,
thanks.
like the picture of health.
Thank you. I try. But now I'm like very conscious about, what I'm putting in my body. Like I don't buy anything that's like hormone. I try to keep like milk organic. I always have though.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's my hair started getting like dry, brittle, and then it would just like break off. So at one point I was like, I'm just chopping it all off. But like dogs again, like it, or they'll get
Yeah.
like
Yep.
patches of like
Hmm.
no hair, but that's part of it. And
I thought he
yeah,
was getting mange.
did what?
I thought he was getting mange
Yeah,
because just patches were just going away.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like, what's going on? I think they're going to think we're uh, neglecting him or something.
yeah, yeah.
And they said, no, this is the horribleness, he says, of this disease.
It's really terrible. And like I don't know if like the trajectory of the disease is longer on like horses because like they're just bigger creatures to me than like a dog. But no, it's terrible. And once it hit and it's very depressing. Because also you're in this constant state of stress. And like I
Yeah.
joke about it now, but I was very efficient in the hospital. On my days working at the hospital, someone would ask me for a pillow and I would dart down the hallway to go get them a pillow. And people around me were like, "Are you okay? Do you need help in your room?" And I was like, "No, my patient just needs a pillow." And then I'd like go get it. Like everything was an emergency to me. And it's like you're in this constant state of fight or flight and you're like flight. And even when you're trying to go to sleep at night, they say you're tired but wired. And so I'd be
Wow.
exhausted, but you can't sleep.
This is freaking me out, Danielle. I'm not kidding. You
Yeah.
literally have described everything he was going through. Because when he was sleeping, his heart, you could see the breathing.
Yeah.
It was just going like 100 miles an hour.
Oh, your heart rate's so high. My Apple Watch was also a huge thing for me. I would I would tell my physician, like, my Apple Watch keeps going off. My heart rate's been like 125 most of the day.
Whoa.
And like my resting heart rate's usually like in the 60s. And it's back to that now, but constantly in the 125s, you feel your heart. It's almost like you have this constant your adrenal gland is adrenaline. Your
Yeah.
constant adrenaline pumping through your body. Like my house would be clean and I would not be able to sit down and watch TV. I would be cleaning again, like because it's like you have to do something. You have to, do something with all this energy in your body. I'd work out like 2 hours a day. It did nothing, but it did make me feel better. But yeah, it's just, and it's hard. Like when you do gain all this weight quickly, and your dog might have also. It's hard to, even though you feel like you have to constantly do something. It's hard to find the energy to do it at the same time because you are exhausted, but you
Mhm.
have this constant need to like keep moving around. But like it's like an Energizer bunny.
He was constantly like, just he if he heard anything, like you said, the fight or flight kind of thing,
Mhm.
he was hauling ass from one side of the yard to the other,
Yeah.
just looking for something
Yes, that's like
that
me.
wasn't there. And and then with towards the end, he was just like, because when he'd be lying on the porch and I'd be in the backyard doing something or another, and then I would like just go in through the back, he'd get up and like see if I wanted to play. But towards the end, he just laid there. He literally, like what you just said, the energy was, I mean, the desire was there,
Yeah.
but he just said, you know what, I ain't got no more.
Yeah, it's sometime
So he
that
would just lay
battery.
there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about what that is, and then once you do get treated and stuff, it's like a whole different getting used to having not as much, like, I'm not as amped up, like, so
Right. No, I know what you mean.
it's almost like being normal is like feels like you're being lazy in a way.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, so, like, for me, during my recovery, I sat on my couch and created this business. I did what I could for my couch, and then I was like, "All right, like I have the energy to like go into my little like home office and do this." Um but it was like at one point I was like, I'm not sure if I'll ever be the person to be able to go back to the hospital and work there to take care of patients when I feel like I need to be taking care of myself. So
Now, did you ever find out did they tell you what caused yours?
no, just that there was an adrenal tumor. They said that there's no way of knowing what it is. So I looked into like genetics. Genetics can be a cause of it, but my mom had genetic testing done previously. I mean, it could be on my dad's side, but no, I don't see that on his side. My mom was like negative for all of the things. So like I didn't like jump into genetic testing after, but it could answer some questions. And it's something that I would like to know in the future because like should I be cautious of my daughter maybe getting this?
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. And so like that does concern me, but like I feel like right now I've had like all the testing in the world done. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like I'm a little burnt out from it. Um, but yeah, so it can be that. It could be just like you're in a constant state of stress. Like, well, that's more chronic high cortisol is like due to just your demeanor
Right.
being just constantly stressed out. Mine was caused by a tumor, so I don't know why. The answers are unknown because I've asked it like, what do you think caused this? And they're like, I don't know.
I know that this we didn't plan on this topic,
No,
but
no.
I'm telling you, I think this is going to help a lot of people. I
Yes.
mean, big time. And the Lord does work in mysterious ways, and I'm telling
Yes.
you, this was we literally, folks, and I'm telling y'all, this was not planned, but
No, I was planning on like
I
that vitamin K trend.
I'm telling you, what is what are some maybe some from for all the people listening out there, what advice can you give them that you have been through this? Uh, mm, I mean, I guess you're still kind of living with it, right? A little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, I
Um,
probably always will have some residual from it. Like what I'm focusing on right now is living in the healthiest way that I
right.
can. And there was a period of time where like my doctor was like, you need to start exercising again. Cause even through all of that, when I was like at my height of just illness, I was working out 2 hours a day. Like I was like a Peloton machine. And then after my surgery, I just was like, blah, like I just don't want to. And my doctor was like, you need to start working out again because one, your body's used to that.
Hmm.
Two, it's going to give you more endorphins and it's going to help you have the energy that you're used to. So I've started working out 3 times a day. I'm not up to my like 5, even if it's sometimes just taking my dog for a walk around the neighborhood. We have like a lot of hills. So to me, it feels like something.
Yeah.
So I do that. I try to hydrate a ton, because also with, um, everything I've gone through, your risks for dehydration are more amplified than for like the regular person. So I try, like, I have my water bottle here. It's like attached to me more than my
Yeah.
phone is. And I have electrolytes because you're at risk of electrolyte depletion as well, like low sodium um, and I,
It's too much. It would, and I'm asking because I don't know. Uh, and I'm sure a lot of other people don't. Are these energy drinks such as, or maybe not energy drinks,
like
things like
Celsius.
Gatorade?
Um,
Are those bad?
I think too much is bad. So Gatorade has a lot of sugar in it.
Okay.
So I try to steer clear of the things with like a lot of sugar. Also, like anything that's diet has something called aspartame in it, and supposedly that's worse for you than the actual full real sugar option. So, like if I'm going to eat sugar, it's going to be real sugar.
Hmm.
Um, I I try to buy the electrolyte packets that aren't like table salt. They're like the French gray sea salt. Who knows if it makes a difference, but for I drink a lot of water, so for every 3 bottles I drink, I'll put like 1 electrolyte packet in one. So to kind of keep with the hydration, because if you're overly hydrating, you're diluting all of the electrolytes in your body, you're diluting salt, and then you have a
I
separate
didn't
problem.
even think about that. Wow. Yeah.
But most people don't drink enough water for it to cause a problem, but for people who do and I really only like water. I don't like flavored things really. Like I don't like juice, and so people like that, you're at risk of just diluting all of the other things in your body that are important too. So replenishing like magnesium in your body, potassium, um, is important. I've just been buying all these books. Like like a book person now, and so, but it does seem to help with the energy levels. But yeah, like advice wise, like it's almost like you have to push yourself to live in the healthiest state that you can. Cause like in my mind now I have one adrenal gland, and like I do have a fear that that one is, and it would be really rare to,
That's stressful.
but
That's too much stress.
it's stressful. But I mean, you can live without them because I asked, and but you would have to be on steroids for life. And the steroids, I had a reaction to them. I had to get them switched out because they were causing me to have itching on my upper body from 10 o'clock at night to 4:30 in the morning. So I'd
Oh, wow.
finally go to bed at 4:30 in the morning. And then I had to wake up at 6 to get my daughter to school, then working and all that stuff. So it was like impossible. So steroids have their own side effects, and then at some point, like, I should probably still be on them now, but I was having such, like, side effects that I couldn't sleep that my doctor was like, "It's better for you to be, like, tired and not on them than not sleeping at all." So, also finding, like, providers that actually work with you and listen to you is important. Like, I feel like all of my doctors listen to me when I speak, and they're not like, "Oh, this the textbook says that you're supposed to do this." They're like, "Okay, if this is actually making you feel like you're being waterboarded at night, then we're
Yeah.
not gonna do this anymore." And you have to be somewhat creative
And vigilant.
and yeah, and vigilant, and I feel like they've been, like, really vigilant. I mean, I go for, like, blood tests every 3 months, but then I sit around the waiting room and I'm, like, looking at everyone else wondering, like, "What are you here for?" That's, like, kind of my new my new thing is I look at people and I'm like, "I wonder if you're okay."
No.
Because, like, people think everyone's okay, and they might
Yeah.
not be, and
You've always looked healthy,
I
and you've always just had this glow about you. So it's
it's the walk.
really a shock when I hear that you're going through these things,
Mhm.
because I'm like, how can somebody who is, quite frankly, the picture of health,
Yeah.
be going through this?
And that was, like, always what I thought. Like, I would even before this, I was like, I'm not worried about, like, as I get older because I feel like I live so healthily, I exercise, this is, like, who I am, and it's just not like that. And then at one point, I posted on Facebook because it was, like, becoming pool season, and I knew people were, like, probably wondering. Like, one of my friend's husbands asked her if I was pregnant, and I'm not offended because, like, honestly, that would have been the better the better option there. But, but people do start wondering or, like, and so I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna just take control of this." I posted on Facebook, like, "I've been going through this," because sometimes also it looks like you're in a state of depression, and, like, maybe I was due to what was going on, but it's like, well, did Danielle let herself go, or are we going through, like, a medical problem? And I just didn't want people to be concerned about my mental state because, like, I live in a community that's, like, very, very caring, and, like, it was almost like I didn't wanna worry other people, so I was like, "Let me just take control of this and just tell everyone what I'm going through." And then, like, people started messaging me and they were like, "How did you get diagnosed? I think I have this." And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm not a doctor."
But I wanted to ask you to tell the people out there, what can they do to be proactive, or what's the right word?
Like, how to prophylactically or yeah, be proactive in your
And
own.
finding out if maybe they're not feeling okay, and
Yeah.
they just think they think, oh, it's because of this or that, but then they wait too long, and
Mhm.
you know it could
So
be a bad thing. What would you do?
so, like, my first suggestion would be, like any primary care doctor, take a hold of your lifestyle choices, right? So, because it's what they're gonna tell you to do first. Exercise more, drink more water, eat healthier. For me, when they said that, I was like, "I can't possibly do any of that more." So, if you know the answer is, "I can't possibly do any more of that, I can't exercise more," like, then and you know that you've taken hold of your lifestyle changes, then I think the answer is going to your primary care doctor. Tell them your concerns. Get the test run. Typically, they'll run, CBC and just those things, and they'll immediately test your thyroid. And they'll keep testing your thyroid, but the answer remains the same. Your thyroid's normal. Obviously, this is not the test, right? So then I think just research. Research, um, throw your labs into ChatGPT, tell your symptoms, and then come back to your doctor and say, "This is what it's saying. Like, I'm the one paying for these tests to be run, so can we just do them?" And if this person won't respond as to, like, "Yes, we will run the test," then just tell them, "Well, I'm going to have to seek a second opinion." And so either they will decide to run these tests or they'll say, "Okay, go on, seek your second opinion." Likely that statement will make them just run the test for you.
Yeah.
And then, but if not, I mean, I'm all about getting a full panel. I mean, there are like websites you can go on to order your own labs with like
Yeah.
hormones and all of
Yeah.
that. The issue with that is you get your results back and who's treating it. But you can bring it to your primary care doctor. If there's something like very off, like they would refer you to an endocrinologist or in another case, a specialist of different sorts, like whether it's a hematologist or something like that. I did go to a hematologist, a cardiologist. I went to all the things. And it's very frustrating going from specialization to specialization. And
I couldn't imagine that you're
oh,
having to go through all these
well,
doctors.
it's so much. And I do think that's where there is a gap in the healthcare system, right? So I do think like if there were something where there are primary care doctors with, Americanized medicine, westernized medicine, and a holistic practitioner involved in the same practice working together and figuring out the whole of the person versus like I think it's this one system. I do think there's a gap in that. So
Mhm.
so seeking different types of care, different routes, like that's something that I was very, very open to, and I would suggest it to anyone else too, because sometimes you do have to get creative and just keep pushing and
Yeah.
pushing to find
Yeah.
those answers. And that's with anything. Like if you don't like the answer you're getting in anything, it doesn't hurt to get a second opinion.
That's
Now,
what I wanted to say. Yeah.
it doesn't, but sometimes and you have to be leery of who you are looking for a second opinion from, because sometimes people just want someone to say, yes, 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 like, you're right. But like, even though the person might not be right. So you have to really do digging on the
Yeah.
credibility behind that person as well. Cause I mean, in labor and delivery, I see it too. People don't like something the doctor said, which is like, they're right, but they didn't like it. They'll go to someone else, and then you hear all this stuff about this person allowing for all these very, I mean, everyone is their own advocate, but allowing for dangerous choices and putting it under your license is something that is very concerning. So if you're
Like
seeing,
Russian roulette.
yes, like seeing this person say yes to everyone, like there's this one doctor I heard of that the mom wants like comfortable C-section and they're performing a C-section in the dark. Like that that's not it. Like that sounds very
Yeah.
dangerous. And so
Yeah.
if something sounds dangerous, that's just
And that's where I was going with that because if you're in already a world of pain and discomfort, and then you have just because they're doctors, it doesn't mean they're gonna always get it right.
no.
And if you feel that, definitely challenge it,
Mhm.
or get a second or even a third opinion. But
Yeah.
I think the paramount thing here for people to remember is that yes, their health is and their well-being and comfortableness, if that's even a word,
Mhm.
to be it is paramount
Mhm.
to have, and they don't need more stress when they're already stressed out.
No. No. And you are your own advocate in every aspect of healthcare. The patient has the right to be part of the decision making process. Like that's the whole thing with informed consent for the care in general. Like you should be treated as and acting as part of your own healthcare team. Like the doctors and nurses
Absolutely.
are not all of it. The patient is a
Yeah.
really important part of it too, because they're the ones experiencing these things. Like the doctors and nurses can't just make decisions based off of your labs. Like you have to be the person in it, and you should be seen as a person whose their health matters, and you are a very important aspect of that care, because you're the one that's feeling these things, and those symptoms and what you're feeling should be taken into account in performing this care, no matter what type of care you're seeking or getting. um and that's like a major aspect of why I'm currently here and doing decently, and why um I do the work that I do. It's because people
You were your
deserve.
own advocate.
You're your own advocate, and that's a huge responsibility too. And you need to, informed consent. You need to be informed. You need to remain informed. You also need to perhaps seek additional information and knowledge going into it, because like these are really, really important things. And sometimes the information you're getting, and you have a right to keep asking questions.
Sure.
Just keep asking and keep learning and growing. And yeah, that to me, that's the biggest advice, is like lifestyle changes. If you can't do that, remaining your own advocate, because that's a huge part of healthcare in general.
If people listening and viewing this have a question since you've been through this,
Yeah.
are they able to maybe
Yeah.
ask you a question via DM or
Yes.
however?
Yes, you can DM me. My handle is labor, LABOR, two, the number two, legal, LEGALRN. And that's on Instagram. And then my email address is Danielle at labor to legal, not the number two, but labor2legal.com. And you can ask me a question on there. I also have a website. It's labor2legal.com. You can contact me through there as well if you forget the other things. But yeah, I'm very happy to answer any questions, and especially, I've really decided in this, like I had like an awakening, and it was just to help other people in their healthcare journey, which is why it sort of legal nursing aligned with me. But also just in a personal aspect as well. Because I know what it's like to feel very, very lost. And this is from a person who is part of the realm of healthcare. So
The
if you're
machine. You're part of the
yeah, I'm
machine.
part of it, and I've been trained in it, and I think that's part of that I was very, very lucky with,
This is
especially.
this is what gives you the insight
Yeah.
of knowing what, and you're also uh, I mean, firsthand because you've literally faced this and experienced all of this. So
Yeah.
you're just like the perfect person to go
Yeah.
to for this. So
And I can give
uh,
like like not medical advice, but like just personal
no,
advice.
no,
Like,
no,
I'm not
right.
a doctor, but I, I have like this photographic memory, and that's why I just knew what it was. Also because the picture of that disease was branded in my mind, um, but I can personally help with any questions. And yeah,
Thank you so much, Danielle.
of course.
This has turned into a very special episode
Yes, it
of
has. I
A
did
Good
not
Lawyer
foresee
podcast.
this.
And I'm telling you, this is definitely one for the books here because I know this is going to help a lot of people. I mean, you cleared a lot of things up for me.
I
I
I had
mean,
no
seriously.
idea what was happening with your dog.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, this literally just happened
that is
yesterday.
I can't
And
imagine to have this.
it's sad because you come home and then you're expecting him there and
And
you're or at least to be on guard because
it,
he was a big dog.
what kind of
Uh,
dog was he?
and then to just go his breed was he had some terrier in him, but
Uh-huh.
then he also had gosh, I want to say maybe like maybe a golden retriever ish
Oh,
kind of thing. It was a beautiful mix,
oh,
but strong, healthy, and then to seem to go from that
yep.
to this, I
It's
mean,
awful.
heartbreaking. Yeah.
And it's like it's a family member. When we lost our dog, I've lost one dog before, but
Mhm.
we had to
I'm
go out of
sorry.
town, and still like is upsetting to think about, but we had to go out of town to not be home, because you feel like at your house you're expecting them there, and it's just
Yeah.
so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Still freaks me out a little bit.
it's sad because it's like they're your best family member because they're always there for you and they never say
Yeah.
anything to annoy you, you know? So you
Gosh.
can't really think of anything negative
I
to say
That's right.
about a pet.
It's like you're in my head, Danielle.
Yeah, it's the worst part is like they're always there and then they have
Yeah.
nothing negative about them.
All they want to do is just get your love and be there for you. I
Yeah,
mean, they're there to make you happy.
I
That's how
know.
they're looking at it, I believe.
Yeah,
Us being happy makes them happy.
I know. It's such a selfless love.
Yeah.
All my
So
dog wants to do is chase Amazon drivers and bark on this podcast, but I
that's
have
okay. That's
nothing negative
okay.
to say
I'm
about him.
so good with that because yeah, it's they're just wonderful creatures and
They are.
I miss my guy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. But I'll tell you what, uh we're gonna end this right here. But
Okay.
I want to thank you so very much for spending time with us today because
Thank
this truly turned into something very special, I think.
thank
And
you.
I honestly believe that it's going to help people
I
who
hope
are
so.
going through something very serious. And I just not because of just the on the veterinary side of things, but I've learned a lot about the human side of it as well.
Mhm.
And it's a scary thing for a lot of folks, and a lot of people don't know where to go. So
No.
I'm hoping this gives them somewhat of a fighting chance and some
Mhm.
direction on where to go seek help.
Yes. Yeah, I hope so too. I mean, I feel like everyone has experiences like this and
Mhm.
they I feel like this was meant for me
Mhm.
to help other people. So, if this helps even just one person that's
Yeah,
listening and like maybe it's a lawyer that's listening and they're just,
yeah.
you have your own specialty and if you don't have answers to what's going on with you, I hope that this gives some hope in that,
You
there
find the help for them. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Well, God
yes.
bless you, Danielle,
Oh,
and I hope you continue to feel well and get better. I'm
mm,
sorry you had to go through all of that. But I'm
it's
so
okay.
glad you're feeling better now. You look like $1 million. You always have. So God bless you on your journey. We can't wait to have you back.
Thank
Uh,
you.
already counting the days and weeks till we can have you back on again. So,
Same here.
ladies and gentlemen, Danielle Carucci. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Danielle.
Thanks so much. Thank you for having me again.
Absolutely. All right, folks. That's the incomparable Danielle Carucci there on a special segment of A Good Lawyer podcast. A lot of doom and gloom out there in the world today, folks. You see it everywhere on TV, social media. Do yourselves a favor. Get out there and love somebody today. I will see y'all up the road. I love y'all. I will forever. Bye.